Hi guys, welcome back to Gaming with Idiots, and I'm sorry I'm a little out of breath, but I just ran upstairs.
Running is hard, you guys. You don't even understand.
So, welcome to our third podcast. It'll probably be a little late, but, oh well. So, first thing we're going to talk about, because it just happened today, is Charles Manson died.
Ah!
And Sarah's very distraught about this. She informed me about the Texas shooting, and so I decided to inform her about Charles Manson dying.
Oh, it's not that I condone anything that he did. It's just, in a way, he's kind of like an enigma. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get it, kind of. It's
He's a character. I like the idea of a weird, random character, but I don't like the idea of anything that he did or what he stood for.
Alright, so Manson served 9 life terms in California prisons and was denied parole 12 times. Wow.
He was persistent. You gotta give him that.
Yeah. So if you guys remember, he was a cult leader, and he
He killed
apparently,
Sharon Tate. He did a lot of murders, and the whole thing was just
yeah,
a
the
mess.
uh the brutal killings began on August 9th, 1969. Blah 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 blah. We're just kind of googling the details right now because all I
They
know is
were
that he
all
died.
found in chests.
All right, yeah,
Like, that's one detail I remember. They
and
were all found in, like, bedroom chests, you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, he ordered the killings, but he never participated in any of them. So let's see here, killers, blah blah blah.
I like how the trending story since he died is why some women are attracted to serial killers like Charles Manson. Like, the dude just died, okay?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been a popular topic for a few months now, though.
I know, but that's just weird to me. I can't see being attracted to a serial killer. That's just,
Then again, Sarah can't really see being attracted to anyone, so.
true, but at the same time, can you at least raise your standards a little bit to something, I don't know, gettable?
Oh, it does say here that he was originally sentenced to death, but the death penalty was briefly abolished in the
Hmm,
state. And
okay.
he was commuted to life in prison. Okay, I just want to know how he died.
I know.
Oh, it just said orgies and sermons in big letters, and I was like, wait, what?
That's it. Alright, I'm
Manson's
just gonna Google
music.
it. How did
Dark Legacy. Oh my god, you're supposed to tell me how he died, and you didn't. You fail, CNN.
um I don't give a shit if the myth will ever die. I just want to know how he died. Oh, natural causes.
What natural causes, though?
Basically, natural causes is just like they don't really know, but there isn't any signs of foul play.
Well, yeah,
That's
but I mean,
basically
like,
all.
was it, did, like, his heart give out? Did his liver just stop working and everyone
That's
ignored it
something
because
you
he was
won't
in
really find out
prison?
for months.
Ugh, they should know it
You
now.
don't know apparently how autopsies work. Brittany Murphy's completely random celebrity death I'm bringing up. Brittany Murphy's took like almost a year to come out.
Who in the world is Brittany Murphy's?
Not Murphy's, Brittany Murphy, and she was
Okay,
in a lot of bad early 2000s movies.
okay, I
She was in
guess.
that one movie with Dakota
Does he
Fanning.
have a swastika on his forehead?
Yeah, he got that tattooed.
I did
He's a
not
real
know
winner.
that.
But just the fact that someone as random as him, it's just that the character died. I don't like him, but the idea of someone,
Right.
like, if you watch some of his interviews, he'll literally just be sitting there and he's like, I'm an original. There's no one like me. No one can do what I do. And then he'll just stand up and go, "Wah, wah, wah, wah," sit down and
Yeah.
go, you see that? You didn't see me coming.
Yeah, he also, one of his, like, more
Like,
famous
he's so
quotes
random.
is, like, crazy used to mean something. Now everyone's crazy, blah, 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 blah. Like, this dude was literally insane.
I know.
There was no
The
cure
fact
for
that he
him.
thinks everyone is jumping on the bandwagon. No, everyone's always been this way, dude.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more acceptable to come out about it now.
Yeah,
Like,
that's one good thing I can say that's happened in the past 20 some odd years.
mm-hmm.
Think about it. People are more open with homosexuality and stuff. Mental illness isn't looked at as, oh, he's just going through a phase. We're just going to lock him in the east corridor of the house.
I
Like,
mean, sure, some people still do think like that, but now it's a lot more common to be like,
True.
hey, if you're feeling suicidal, here's like 20,000 hotlines that you can call
It's
that are
not
completely free.
Scientology. Jesus Christ. You know their idea to cure mental illness
Oh
is?
no, what is it?
If you have a mental illness or there's something wrong with you,
Mm-hmm.
all you need is more Scientology. All you gotta
Well,
do is believe in your
duh.
church more and practice.
And
Well, I
pay
don't
more so
know
you
their
can move
exact
up higher
practices,
in the
but just do
ranks.
whatever that is. Be like an Indian or whatever and just dance around in your yard in like a weird little feather hat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Just
Mm-hmm.
keep practicing your religion and magically your depression will go away, all your anxiety, everything.
Like,
You'll be on a higher level above everyone else,
okay, we're gonna talk
essentially.
about Scientology for a minute here. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about the South Park episode about Scientology.
The thing is, it's facts. Like,
Yeah.
people might be like, oh, that's hilarious. It's facts.
Yeah,
Once you
because.
reach a certain level, because you remember how they told how Scientology came to be,
Right.
and on like the subtitles it said this is what Scientologists actually believe.
Yeah.
Once you reach this certain level, and by the time you reach that, you have given up like over $20,000 to this
If
church.
not more.
Once you reach that level, you're given a suitcase. And this suitcase, it's literally attached to you. You carry it around with you everywhere. And inside is supposedly the secrets to life. Everything you've been wanting to get. It's the whole reason you joined Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
You open it, and it's this little story written by L. Ron Hubbard himself in his handwriting, which we all know is a photocopy.
Mm-hmm.
And you read it, and it's literally the exact thing that South Park showed, and it's the most insane shit you've ever heard in your life.
And these people that they like Scientologists say you can't let other people read this that don't believe in our religion because it will drive them insane to know the truth. Well, guess
It
what?
drives us insane because it makes no sense.
People have read it and have not lost their mind and got batshit crazy. We were like this beforehand, Scientology.
I know. But still, if anyone's going insane, it's because it makes no sense and we just want to help you get out of whatever situation you're in. Like, oh my god, you're
Sarah,
the
be
biggest
reasonable
cult.
for once. But no, the part that I wanted to talk about is that Stan was bored and didn't want to spend money because he was saving up for something. So
Hmm.
Scientology, like most cults, start off free. Like, come in here, take this questionnaire.
Oh my god, that actually happened to me today. I actually had a Scientologist chick walk up to me while I was in the Dollar General parking lot.
Wow.
I was just sitting in my car. I never like gave her a verbal answer. I shrugged my shoulders at her, like if you want to leave a flyer, leave a flyer, but that's on you. And she was just like, she was so
Wow.
insulted that I didn't give her a verbal answer that she
They're
walked
worse
off.
than Jehovah's Witnesses, and those people actually come up to your door.
I know,
Anyway, so he goes
just
in
insult them.
and they like hook you up to this weird thing, and then they
You
start
meet her.
asking you a bunch of weird questions.
It's literally a little machine with a bunch of dials and two tin cans in your hands.
Pretty much.
That's a
And they ask you things like when you're bored, do you often find yourself whistling and stuff like that? And so
Oh,
I
there's
was
another one too. The stress test. Have you heard about that one?
no, I have not.
It's used with the e-meter too, and
Hmm.
basically all it is they're measuring stress. It'd be like me asking you, tell me one thing you're stressed about.
I guess I'm stressed about work, Sarah.
All right, name another thing you're stressed about.
My cat dying.
Name another thing you're stressed about. And it goes on and on like that to the point where you're like, I've just named you 500 things and we're still sitting here. So of course, it, whatever's going on in that machine's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you wanna know what you need? Scientology.
Scientology. No, but and so I went and I took an online quiz of Scientology, and my results were printed at a Scientology church in Texas because I was not actually going to give them my real location. So, yeah, they asked
Scientology
like
decided.
similar questions, and it just went
Hold on.
on forever. They asked like 200 questions of like, do you often find yourself whistling? Or like, sometimes when you're sad, do you think you're depressed? Like, what?
But
Oh, Sarah, you're back?
yeah,
Okay.
what one thing, you know how it said it went off to some church or base in Texas? If
Mm-hmm.
you become a Scientologist, never get in a base because you cannot leave. You get paid no money. All your phone calls are monitored. Your meals are like literally sent to you. You do everything that the church says down to a T. And if you deviate from that at all you really get sent to is more work. It's basically a concentration camp.
It is, but the people are a little bit more happy about it because they're like, I'm doing the
No,
alien
they think
overloads
God
work,
works.
whatever it is. I
They
don't
really
know.
are. That's what they think.
Mm-hmm.
They think without Scientology, the world would be shit and everyone would just be running free and there would be no order and no good in the world.
I mean, I listened to this like three different accounts of people talking about Scientology, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, I can't even.
Have you read about how they handle sexual assault in Scientology?
No, I have not. Tell me about it, Sarah.
All right. Basically, if you blame your accuser,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the accuser's fault. You're blaming him because of something that you did, and you're just trying to pass it off on him. That's
Are
Scientology.
you kidding me?
No, look it up.
No, no, that's the opposite of what should happen. That's literally victim
No,
blaming.
exactly.
The fuck?
Perfect example of this. A lot of the stuff I know about Scientology, by the way, I read a lot about it online because I'm an obsessive freak. But I
Yeah.
also watch the Leah Remini stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's honestly one episode, I think it's in season 2. It's the first episode of season 2, I'm pretty sure. Free on demand, whatever.
Okay.
And it's these two girls talking about their experience with sexual assault in Scientology. And oh my god.
Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to think here. Like, they're both bad, but also with Jehovah's Witnesses. You know how
Mm,
they deal with sexual assault? They encourage their
I honestly have no idea.
followers. They encourage their followers, first of all, not to go to the police or really tell anyone besides one of their elders.
That's
And then,
basically what happens with Scientology
and
too, but then they
then
put a weird twist on it.
But then they will send the predator just around all over the place, just sending him back and forth between churches and stuff, just so he can evade police. Because, yes, let's let him go and rape
Mm,
more people. There's a reason why rapists go to prison. It's so that they can stop raping people. You don't just send them
it's a
around to
messed up
different
culture.
places. What?
It's a messed up culture. It really is.
It is.
It
Just.
doesn't help rape culture when you have things going on in the Jehovah Witness Society, in the Scientology Society, that contradicts and goes against all the progress that is trying to be made
I
to
mean,
help these victims, and
all
it's
of
just
these
ridiculous.
people that are like, well, you know, you can't lay with a man if you're another man. It says so in the Bible. Well, if we took the Bible literally word from word, you know what would happen if you were raped? Catherine? Catherine, you would be sold off to that
Why,
dude.
Catherine?
I don't know. It just sounds like a Christian mom name.
Catherine?
Catherine, listen here.
Catherine Ashley.
No, no, wait,
Catherine
wait.
Ashley.
Wait. Karen. Karen's better.
Karen.
You know what would happen? You would be sold off to your rapist, and he'd only have to
Karen.
pay your father like 4 sheep for it, and you would have to marry him. And you know what his punishment is? He's never allowed to divorce you. That is his punishment.
But at the same time, though, she really does lose her figure.
Sarah,
I'm sorry.
we're awful. Anyway, so
I do for the victims and everything, but if you do hear me make a joke or something, that's just me trying to make light because you about have to.
Sarah is
It's
literally the
a,
comic relief of this channel.
and that is very rare and far in between.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Okay, so
Or what do we
I
got?
think this happened on Friday, and
Mhm.
I was at work, and this woman comes up, and like at first glance you're like, oh, you're either like a butch lesbian or you're a dude. Like I don't really care.
Or
It's
your
none of my
taste in general.
business.
Just don't know.
But then, like, you can kind of look at their chest sometimes, be like, okay, this is a butch lesbian. But anyway, on their freaking arm. Now, remember, I work at Chuck E. Cheese, and it was
Uh,
cold this day, so I don't know why they weren't wearing long sleeves. But seriously, on their arm, in permanent ink, it had an eyeball.
mean, a tattoo?
Yes. And then it
In
had, no,
permanent
just,
ink.
Yes, this is
I want to
on
go
their
get permanent
body
ink. Do you like my
forever.
new permanent inked? I'm permanent inked all the way up to my
Shut
shoulders.
up, Sarah. I'm trying to tell a story here.
I'm sorry, that just got me going.
Anyway, so she had an eyeball on her arm,
Hmm.
and then a heart, and then it said pussy. She literally had tattooed on her arm, I heart pussy. And I'm like, do we really need this on our
Now on
body?
iHeartRadio, listen today.
Like seriously. Like
My
it's
God,
like I can understand being like happy and proud of who you are and blah 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 and like
you have to
you
brand
can already
yourself.
tell that this woman also likes some women in some way because of just how she looked.
Maybe she
And
just loves her cats and she just cannot separate the
no.
two.
No, Sarah.
I'm
No.
trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, even when they don't deserve it.
Except for me. And I seriously was just like, why? I don't understand dumb tattoos. Like, for me, I want tattoos, okay? I think tattoos are great, whatever. Probably hurt like a
I'm getting
bitch. I don't know
tattoos.
yet. But,
Oh, it does.
I mean, obviously, it's literally needles going into your skin.
Mhm.
But I've already set a few rules for myself. Number one, there are no names. I don't care if it's my pet name, if it's my child's name, if it's my current lover's name. There's no names on my body. Second of all,
I might get my own name tattoo on my body just to confuse people.
there's gonna be no faces. I don't care how good this tattoo artist thinks they are. I am not getting
Mm,
a face tattooed on my skin
fair.
because that's just weird. And number three, I'm always going to like I have to like the idea of having this on my body for at least a year before I go and get it on my
At
skin
least a
forever.
year. It's for life. It's for
But
life,
see,
girl.
so much changes in a year that like, I
Mm,
used to want to get like so many different things, but now that I've settled on a few ideas that I've liked for over like since freshman year of high school,
hmm.
then I think that's a good enough time to be like, okay, I know for sure that I want this. So,
I see your point, but at the same time, it's just like at least a year, and then who knows? I might spend a couple $1,000s to get it removed.
oh goodness.
Tattoo
So,
removal is extremely expensive, even though I about feel like it should be free.
tattoo should be free?
No, tattoo removal.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Only
this
in the
is
sense of, do you know how many people get like you said, names or faces or something, and then oh, that person's not with you anymore. Don't make them carry that around.
Hey, just
Please let
saying,
them get rid of
if
it.
you live in the Tennessee Rivergate area, if you take a new unwrapped toy to some tattoo place or tattoo removal place that I can't remember the name of, you get one
Yeah.
tattoo removed for free this holiday season.
Oh.
Yeah, I only know that because the Chuck E. Cheese I work at is technically kind of part of the mall. Not
Mhm.
like physically, but it's close enough to it. It's like
Yeah.
literally right next to it. So we get like a little pamphlet of like all the deals and like when Santa's gonna show up at the mall and stuff, just in case people are wondering. It's
Uh.
like I don't know why do you think a Chuck E. Cheese employee would know all this? But I know
I know
that.
I'm a grown adult, sort of. I know I'm sort of one, but at the same time, I cannot remember the last time I was excited for Santa to come. Even when I was a kid, I was just kind of like, oh, it's an old fat guy. I can find that anywhere.
Okay, do you mean like Santa to come bring you presents or just like Santa to show up at the mall so you can take
Santa
pictures
in the
with him?
mall, Santa in general, I never got the excitement.
I think the last time I felt real excitement for Christmas was when I was
Hmm.
12.
Actually, it kind of got ruined for me because I think I was like 7 or 8 when I caught my parents putting gifts under the tree. And
Uh,
when all I said, I knew it, and I went back to sleep.
you were a conspiracy theorist from the beginning.
I definitely was. There's no lie there.
Did you ever check out that YouTube channel I told you about, Triggered Tro? Hashtag not sponsored.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, you're fine. But pretty much, he's kind of like Onision, but I like his humor a little bit more than Onision's because Onision isn't so, or Triggered Tro isn't so like hateful about his humor.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, but there's this he just reacts to a lot of videos, and there's this one video he reacts to that was called something like literal proof that Santa Claus is real, and the editing of this kid was so bad.
Oh God, I about want
Like
to just see that video.
I will send it to you.
Okay.
It has like bells going off, but it's like really freaking loud, and it's like
Yeah.
like headphone users beware because it's that loud.
God damn.
And it's just like, oh my god, I think I hear bells. It's like, you think you hear bells? You think you hear them?
Those are fucking bells, bitch.
And how he's like, oh my god, guys, looks, it was really Santa. And he's like whisper shouting, and it's like Santa would have heard that, went right back up the chimney, honey. Yeah,
What?
quick update. I decided not to make a new channel called GWI Extra. I'm
You
still
can just
going to.
make a playlist.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually going to do. Is I'm going to keep it
What do
on this
we?
channel, and it's going to be called. It's going to be segments called Just Jade. So look out for that. We got endings for Orwell coming up. Once we finish Dream Daddy, we'll have the different endings for that. Doki Doki Literature Club, we'll have endings for that because there's two endings that I know of.
Okay. Be
Um,
like Heavy Rain and have like 40,000
oh
endings.
my goodness, it seriously does. Like, have you
And then
actually
I
sat
thought it
down
was
and
funny
watched
when I
all
told you
the
my
endings?
ending, and you're like,
Which ending did you get again? Hashtag spoiler
everyone
alert.
dies,
Everyone.
basically.
You literally killed off everyone, Sarah.
He hangs himself in jail. His
Oh,
son is dead. That girl, I'm pretty sure, got killed. And I think the only one that's still left is the actual killer.
oh my god, Sarah, how awful. Okay, so Heavy Rain is an old game. It's one of the, I won't
Old.
say first choice based games, but it was definitely on up there.
It's a pinnacle in the genre.
Yeah, and it was a really good game. Well, it was actually
It
kind of
really was.
terrible now, but it was good at the
Sean!
time. Sean! So it's about
If you
this.
ever get that glitch, you will know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Or just Google it. Just look up Sean glitch and you'll see. But
Sean!
it's about this dad that loses one of his sons to a car accident.
Oh, I felt
Um,
it.
and then he loses his other son.
This
Song.
song.
His other Sean. No.
His other Sean.
His other son
Oh,
to a murderer called the Origami Killer.
yeah.
Don't
He leaves
say
like
it
little trinkets
right.
everywhere. He sends you on these clues all because he wants parents to fight for
Yeah.
their
It
children, which
also
is something that never happened for him. You know, the whole mommy
Yeah.
daddy thing. It's
It
nothing new.
also involves a reporter girl that you can choose to get romantically involved with or not with a dude. And then there's
I glitched
the
out on that part. It was hilarious. I was playing and I was hitting kiss. Like,
yeah,
come on, let's make the story interesting. Kiss. And it was just frozen with the two choices, like, going
nice.
in and out on the screen
It's
with them
like
staring at each other. Then it waited so long that it made the choice for me and then they didn't. I was like, fuck.
nice. And then there's the private investigator, and then there's also the like super agent FBI dude. Has
Yeah,
these really cool
I didn't like
sunglasses.
playing as him.
You
I
did or
really
you
did.
didn't?
I did not.
Why?
Kind of like towards the end. You remember when you were sitting there with the glasses and you were trying to put all the pieces together before,
Mm-hmm.
like, you died,
Yeah.
basically? For some reason, I was like, this is too much work for a choice based game.
That's literally what the last episode of Life is Strange was like for me when you have
I
to put
know.
all that stuff
I
together.
Googled it. I'm not gonna lie. I Googled it and I
Yeah,
just did it all in 5 seconds.
I was able to do like a few of them, but then at the end I was like, just screw it, I am Googling this.
I did that from the beginning because I was like, this is a choice based game. I do not do this shit for anyone.
Anyway, let's see here. All right.
Yep.
I think last thing I want to talk about is, yeah, let's talk about Sinks' class. Going back to high school,
I don't want to go there.
biology.
I don't
Mr.
want to go
Sinks
there.
was both of our teachers. Sarah
What
took
randomly brought
standard.
him up, by the way?
What?
What randomly brought him up, by the way,
Well,
that you would make him a topic?
I originally had high school down as a subject, but then I was
Uh-huh.
like, that's too broad of a subject. So then I just started writing teachers' names.
So in each episode, we're just going to delve into things in high school that we hated.
Probably.
Basically, right now, to sum everything up, we could just go everything and move on with our lives.
Anyway,
Everything.
so with things, Sarah took the standard class and I took the honors, which
Oh,
I
I took the honors.
failed.
I took the honors and failed too, and then I took standard. I
Oh,
was the
you
same as
did?
you.
I
Why do you
didn't know
forget
that.
me?
I thought you started off taking standard.
Nope.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
I was
so
in the honors, and it was just horrible.
I'll tell my point of view first because I'm more important. With
Fuck off.
Sinks, I was in there and I was also had my girlfriend at the time with me. But then we broke up and Sinks suggested that maybe I switch to standard. But at the time, I thought the best way to deal with depression. This was also the year
Work, work, work.
seriously, I just got out of I was fresh out of the mental hospital when all this was going
Mm,
down. So I thought distractions work, and I was like, oh, I'll put all myself into biology and study and blah blah
uh
blah. That didn't happen, guys. It did not happen at all. So I failed his class by 1 point. You had to have a 70 to make a D. I
hmm
got, don't laugh, Sarah, is 69.
Bill Clinton, where you at? Sorry, mine part.
Anyway,
69 just turns me into a completely different person.
so after that, I took last year's standard, which I
Yeah,
did pretty freaking well in. Just saying,
I
like
I
I
got
think
sinks again. I have a completely different experience
I
for
know
me.
you did, but Sinks was more like a college professor rather than a sophomore high school teacher.
hmm
And I heard he's not even there anymore, so I don't know where he went. But like
Go.
he was a great person. I just couldn't get with him as a teacher. That came out wrong. I
Maybe
could
then you would have passed.
I could not understand him from his teaching thing, so like it was a bad choice
He
to stay
saw
in
it
that
like,
class.
oh,
But
this is a honors class. We might as well work them until they die.
yeah, I mean, like goodness gracious, he worked us to the bone and like had all this. One time, for extra
Stop
credit,
breathing though.
um, we had to like watch this video. No, this was an assignment because we had snow days.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, you had to go on his website and check for assignments if there were snow days. But what if, by some chance, the snow took out our internet? That's an argument I had that I will tell about in a minute.
Okay. And like I literally wrote 2 sentences about the video I slept through and he literally wrote on my paper, "Mary, this is not really a summary," and like gave me 2 points.
It's
Anyway,
a
so
brief
like he was
synopsis.
he was a great person. I really liked talking to him about anything other than science.
Mm,
But he wasn't really that great of a teacher for me at least. Anyway,
okay.
Sarah, your turn.
Well, I got in there. For me, science is easy. It's just facts. We're memorizing. We're moving on.
Mhm.
But with him, it was just like, you want to would make this really great? Let's pile it up to the point to where you can't even remember your own name.
Yeah, that's the
And
best way to
then we'll
teach
just
high
keep giving
school
you,
students.
I know, and then I'll just keep giving you more and more work until the point to where you get sick for 2 days and have to make up work the whole entire weekend. And by that point, you can't even get that done because guess what happened? You got sick again.
No, seriously, skipping 1 day of his class because you were legitimately sick could
Mhm.
honestly end your life.
I know, and he'd be like, well, that's not my problem. And it's like, I didn't say it was your problem, but at the same time, for you to expect me to have this done in like 2 days is fucking retarded.
Yeah, because
I had those arguments with him many times. I was one of the few kids that would argue with teachers.
oh, I know.
But it was
Anyway,
never in a way to where I'd insult them or anything. It
right,
was more just like, I'm gonna apply simple logic to you and watch you crack under the pressure.
right,
But I would go through his class and it was just like, alright, this work is retarded, but I understood everything.
right.
That was the thing. Like, imagine knowing how to do all of it and understanding everything, but not being able to apply it because there was so much work, and he would
Mhm.
give you such ridiculous assignments with weird ass parameters and everything to the point where you're like, you know what? I don't understand this
It
anymore.
was weird. It was really weird, wasn't it? Like, I went to college for
You know
one
what assignment I
semester.
remember in particular?
What's that?
Remember the assignment you had to do where you got with a partner and you drew your kid?
I do actually.
Me and Haley drew a kid.
Nice. It was me and Michael Payne who was like the only gay black kid in our school.
Yes.
But he
But yeah,
was,
he wasn't fabulous. I will say it. He was
yeah.
not as fabulous as you would think.
Yeah, but
More douchey than anything.
yeah, he was honestly a nice kid. He did have his douchey moments, but Anyway, continue, Sarah.
I get through all that work, had arguments with him because I was legit sick, and I kept getting sick over and over again. It was just that time. It was fucking flu season, and I was in a public school. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, Sarah
So
kind of does have a weak immune system.
I do. And I would keep getting sick, and I would just have all this work, and I was like, there's no way for me to make this up, right? And he was just like, well, if you just work harder. I went, it's not a question of working harder. It's a question of time and actually being able to do all this within that amount of
Right, he
time.
was one of those teachers that forgot that you had other classes besides his.
Hmm.
So,
So I went through all that, and then the time came for, you remember how big the freaking end of course thing was?
oh my god. Yes.
And I understood everything and all that. But it
I
got to
did
the
not.
point I actually scored pretty well on it, but because I was so behind because I was sick and couldn't make up any of the assignments hardly,
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended up getting like a 60 something.
Oh my god.
And that was with me, no joke, on that EOC making a 97.
Nice.
And I could not make it up. That's how much work he put on me. And then I failed, and I was the next year. I knew I was going to take the class over again, but I was hoping and praying I didn't get him.
Well, the only other option was the lasher, and the lasher isn't really that much better, but
I know, but at the same time, I couldn't think of going through the same experience again, which I will get into that part.
yeah.
I look it down, I see that I have him. Go into his class, he was like, you shouldn't be here. First thing he said to me as soon as he saw me, I
Oh my
failed,
god.
I failed the class. They put me in this class, so yeah, I am supposed to be here. And he went, walked out the room, came back, and he was just like, welcome to class!
Oh my god. What an asshole.
I know, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, I hate
I
you.
never thought that I would ever say that about Sinks, but Jesus, he is one of those biased teachers because he liked
I
me
know.
at least. Apparently, he did not like you, probably because I was quiet and didn't talk in his class.
Oh, I would always talk and question him, which he lied, but at the same time, he was just like this. Uh,
yeah.
why can't you just say I'm right? Because this time you're not.
Yeah.
That would we had an argument to where that's how it ended. He was like, say I'm right, but you're not. You know what I'm talking about?
Dude, what the fuck?
He wasn't right. He was saying something about science and everything, and I went, in this instance, you're not right. And I think it was something to do with brain waves or something in the new technology they had to be able to read it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're not right.
Mm-hmm.
They have made this much. I went, in the 1980s and 90s, you would have been right.
yeah.
But we have updated the technology since then, so you were not right. But anyways, I got into his class.
Mm-hmm.
Got in there. He went from get the fuck out to hey!
Oh my god.
And I quickly became the one kid he would go to just because he could remember my name.
Nice.
So imagine, just be like, we're sitting there in the middle of class and he goes, Sarah! Oh, what? I was
Yeah.
like asleep, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
You.
He would almost like yell my name like that too. And his honors class compared to his standard class, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm curious
was-
to hear how different it was.
Do you remember how much we got into the stages of mitosis and everything?
Yeah.
It got to the point where it's ridiculous and like it doesn't even make sense what you're telling us.
Yeah, like I remembered
He
it
went-
a year later when I was in Lasher's class. Like I don't remember.
He
anything
summarized
else.
it down. He summarized it down to where it was so mundane and anyone could pick it up. I was just like, you couldn't have done this in the honors class, seriously? Like, I actually understand what you're saying. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my
As
god,
you're
that makes
teaching.
me
Not me
angry.
looking it up on my own and having to learn it all myself like I was doing.
Right.
No, you're telling me this and I can actually understand you.
Yeah, because in his honors class, he used such weird language in it. And
Mhm.
just to hear that, like, because Einstein, I'm pretty sure, said if you can't teach it to, like, an 8-year-old,
Yeah,
you aren't teaching it right. So
exactly.
even though we're supposed to be the smarter students and stuff, you should still be able to explain it to us in a in a manner that we can understand.
And when I was starting to get sick during the honors period
Mm-hmm.
was when we had the cell project. You remember how much that took up for our
Oh
whole grade.
my god.
And
I bombed that because I was not. I
I
was
did
like,
too, but it was actually not my fault. My mom spilt mellow yellow on it while I was working on it.
Oh, I remember that.
So I had to like makeshift everything to get it together. And he was honestly looking at me. He was like, "This is not your best effort." Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Shut up.
It's like, oh,
I'm not even
really?
over this sickness. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I was sick that whole year. I went, I'm not even over
I know
this.
you were like, I barely saw you.
I know. I
It
was
was
like,
crazy.
shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. And then it came time to where I did it in the standard class. And I
Mm-hmm.
made like, he still has it up. Someone told me that he still
Oh my
has.
god.
You said he wasn't there,
Yeah,
but
he's
up
not
to
there
the point
anymore,
he
but
wasn't there, he had it up. The one that I did the second time around,
oh my god.
like it was perfect. And he was just like, if you would have just done this work the first time, I was like, don't start with me. Do not start with me. I looked at him and said that, and I quote, do not start with me.
Yeah. Like, oh my god. Anyway, guys, so any
It
final
ended
words you
up,
want to say about
I
sinks?
left that class with standard with 100.
Oh my god.
That's how much different the class was, and I knew what it was. It was just he would overcomplicate it and make it stupid.
The only class besides like in what is it?
What?
What is that word? Like where it's not really a class, so you get 100 in it anyway. Elective.
Yeah,
Besides
elective.
electives, the only class I ever got that the highest score I think I got was a 98
Hmm.
was in algebra 1.
Algebra 1, you know how
Yes.
Sarah is with math and everything. It's
Cuz
kind of,
yeah, but see I had
I got
Mr.
like a
G
C.
and I was
That's an A for
surrounded
me, though.
by even stupider people than like 7 Sarahs combined. Like I
Only
was the
in
teacher
math.
of that
Only in math,
class.
you guys. Everything else I'm actually very well in.
Yeah, Sarah's actually pretty freaking smart. She just doesn't apply herself. Like every genius out
Oh
there
my
that hasn't
god,
made anything
you
yet.
sound like every guidance counselor ever.
Every teacher, every guidance counselor.
My parents.
Anyway, guys, that's it from us today. Is there anything else you want to say?
Besides, fuck you things. Nah, I kind of mean that, but I don't.
Right, I feel
I
you
mean it
on
towards
that.
your teaching style. Fuck you.